you find yourself in a situation where a certain member maybe can't show up or play, and you play something that you normally never would play, and then we can see them actually make it work. We've seen that with a lot of teams in the past, but there's not going to be any surprises here. We are going to see Tegridy Damp bring in their Shadow Priest, Warlock, Druid, and we are going to see Cowana Gaming lead with their Warrior Red. And I have to agree with Van here. I would give this one to Cowana Gaming. But if we talk win conditions really fast as well, I would say Tegridy Damp. Their name kind of tells you already. They want to damp. They want to go play a long game. Just run, kite this red. Warwicks. Okay, we're going to hold those win conditions. If they reconnect on the Warwicks, he could just die here. But it looks like he's going to survive. Tegridy Damp, they want to live long, and Cowana Gaming, I mean, probably guess what they want to do based off of what just happened there.
I mean, it was close, but he didn't die, so they still have a chance, I think, in this. It's going to be about the Warlock just avoiding the Warrior and Ret the entire game, and Resto Shaman, I would say, actually struggles the most, maybe Discipline Priest, but Shaman definitely one of the more struggle bus healers into Shadow Priest Warlock specifically. So I do wonder if Zot will be able to get some pressure here, purge off Earthshield, purge off Riptide, and if Walrix can get his damage going. He pops his Dark Soul, but Tana's out in the midfield trying to purge it off, I think, already. He's getting a lot of damage out with these Malefic Raptures. Almost wonder if he's going to go for an Unending Resolve play. Right now, Thorns is up, and also attacking into Thorns is devastating. I really want to see Fnobbers utilizing that Druid utility. This is the counter pressure. This is what Shaman struggles with. He cannot handle all of that dot damage, and a Mind Control on his Ascendance is absolutely tearing in at the moment. He's got a couple more seconds left of it. He's going to need a lot of help from Kara and those Word of Glories, and he immediately gets one. And now Warx needs to kite. He cannot tank the Warrior and Ret. He needs to avoid them at all times with that Unbound Freedom getting some value here. Fnobbers getting stunned up on his jump. Warwick's not really able to go anywhere right now. He needs a Life Grip, a Leap of Faith. Zot looks like he's repositioning towards midfield for it. There's the Leap of Faith, pulling Warwick's across. They need roots now. I want to see some Entangling Roots spammed out when Freedom. There's an Entangling Root on a Nerd Rage. He's going to Blade Storm out of it. Fnobbers is trying to use Iron Bark here as well, sneak into stealth and go for a stun. I like the Feral Affinity in this. He knows that he's not going to be a target. The entire team will die if he is ever targeted. Nice portal by Walrix. Demonic Gateway on the Storm Bolt, but Nerd Rage has a charge. He's going to reconnect and crush him. He needed to trade right away. Basically, he's made of glass. He's this complete glass cannon. He's going to shatter if anyone even looks at him. But if he is able to not be touched, he will do a lot of pressure.
I was just gonna say, watching that game for Walrix, it's a balancing act, right? On the one hand, it looks like he's incredibly slippery, and it can be kind of misleading if you're a cleave chasing a Warlock, because there is a lot of mobility you have to go through. You have to go through the portal, the Demonic Circle. You have to go through the Gateway. You have to go through the Life Grip. He's playing, Void Elf. There's just a lot of mobility. But the thing is, once you get through all of that, those have cooldowns. You just rip into Warlocks. They just get absolutely destroyed. So here's the Life Grip we kind of talked about. Nerd Rage, Kara trying to reconnect to their target. And it's at this point where Tegridy Damp, they start finding pressure, right? When everyone's out in the open and they can get damage over time effects on everyone, things are looking good. But here it is, the double intimidating shout. Walrix uses Soul Shape. He gets away, and he actually pre-gateways the Storm Bolt, but doesn't matter. He gets absolutely deleted. And this is why this matchup is so scary. We did see moments of pressure for Tegridy Damp, but overall, I mean, if you're that Warlock and you get caught, you are going to get dropped.
I mean, it didn't even look like there was really anything else that Wally could have done in that situation.
It just all started off with him getting kicked. Like I swear, it's kind of stupid analysis, but don't get kicked. If he got kicked, so he had to use his Soul Shape at a bad time. If he could have just not gotten kicked and just been a little bit closer to his port, he could have ported, then he could have gated, and then when they did reconnect there, he could have Soul Shaped out of the stun. Maybe he still would have died before he could have gotten that off, but it's small things like that you can do. He's basically, it's like playing an Arcane Mage against jungle, like back in Legion. If you ever get interrupted at a bad time, you're dead. And yeah. That's basically what this matchup is. Works is glass.
Most definitely. What?
Works is glass.
Yeah. It's most definitely unfortunate. Pretty quick game though. Cowana taking that first victory though. But I mean, you guys touched on it a little bit before. You know, Tegridy Damp. They're certainly working with limitations here in this series, Supatees. But I feel like, we know that they're a good team. But what is it going to take for them to just get to that next level? I mean, they have this composition right now that's like pretty solid. We're seeing other teams run it and finding success on it as well. But what are they missing? Like, what did we see in that first game that maybe we could see going into a second game? Or is this just going to kind of be it for the rest of the series?
It's just like working as a team. It feels like Walrick is doing everything on his own almost. I feel like if they utilize the Ursul's Vortex when Walrick wants to portal, that way the warrior doesn't immediately get back to the target. Walrick will be able to kite better. Ursul's Vortex specifically needs to be used more in this matchup. Zot's Leap of Faith, if he's not already, I just want to check the gear. I feel like he should be running the conduit that reduces the cooldown of the Leap of Faith. Yeah, he is running it, so he'll be able to pull Walricks more often to safety. I think utilizing the Druid Root, the Druid Vortex, the Leap of Faith on top of Walrick's kiting a bit better, they should be able to win. And I think they need to use their stuns during Freedom. Like maybe the Shadow Priest should only Psychic Horror when there's a Freedom target and just focus on keeping them off. And then once they've gotten them off the Warlock, then Zot can maybe go for Mind Games. I feel like just everything should be in the Ret. It should be a stun on Ret, Mind Games on Ret, a silence on Shaman maybe at the same time during that time, and just stun during Freedom, because he's running Unbound Freedom, which means it can't be purged. So they need to hard crowd control, spam Mind Control. That should be the scariest moment in the game. Zot should just be spamming Mind Control on it, even if it's getting purged. And Ursul's Vortex should be down with Portal. And if they synergize what all three classes have to offer together, they can basically just make the glass untouchable. And that's what they have to do. They can't ever let him get touched the whole game. And it's going to take all three of them to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we all saw from game number 1 what happens if you do let that happen. So hopefully they can defend Wally just a little bit better here heading into this next game. Ben?
It's just, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Tegridy Damp, they did a pretty good job, in all honesty. I don't think Walrick really messed up his mobility that much. It's not like they didn't use it. He even did a good job. He pre-gated the Stormbolt, but yeah, it's rough. I do like the build Walrick's playing, so he once again is going to be playing that Wild Hunt tactics. So if he does damage to anyone over 75% health, it's a bit more, 10% more damage, but he also gets a little bit of a mini sprint. So he's going to be moving faster the whole game. And once again, Tegridy Damp, they're made of glass. They need to just make sure these big hammers don't get anywhere near them, or they will shatter, like we saw in game number 1. And for Cowana Gaming, as long as, I feel like for Cowana Gaming, what they want to do is just kind of pool all their mobility together and then make big pushes where maybe Tegridy Damp makes a mistake. But on this larger map, I would say you were kind of talking about the things that they needed to pull off a victory. I would say this map is super duper helpful. It's one of the biggest maps in the pool, and I feel like Tegridy Damp should have a much easier time kind of getting away. And we did see, I mean, when Tegridy Damp was able to get dots on everyone, their pressure was immense. So definitely options in terms of pressure. It's just about surviving as long as you can. Not an easy thing to do, but it is possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but and here's the other added difficulty to it as well. If Tegridy Damp does end up winning this next game, that means that map choice is going to go to Cowana Gaming, and there's no telling what kind of difficulty they're going to have there when Cowana Gaming is able to have that freedom of choosing something that is just a little bit better towards their comp instead. So we'll have to see here what Tegridy Damp can do on Empyrean Domain. Hopefully they can use this one, the more space that we've been given for them on this next map. Let's see if they can tie it up here. Empyrean Domain, very, very bright. Hopefully these guys brought their sunglasses. Sid, did you manage getting that program to get the blue filter for this map?
No, but I regret not doing it.
Apparently it's built into Windows now. I didn't know that.
Maybe I'll have to look more into it, but here on Empyrean Domain, I really want to see if Tegridy Damp can come together. I think Walrick maybe should also run the big gateway honor talent. I'm just double checking if maybe he can drop a little bit of damage to be able to get access to that honor talent, because he can't get touched. He literally can't get touched the entire game. It basically needs to be maybe one person, like the warrior, but the Ret Paladin can't get to him. And we can see Cowana Gaming are posted up defensively at the pillar. not making their move just yet. And the advantage of this should be that Zot can move to the right side and Walrick could move to the left and get a couple bit of damage out. That Shadow Crash hits 3 players. The Mind Seer just poke at this point. But if they want to turtle, you don't want to get anywhere near this blender ball of the Ret Warriors. So they're playing this very cautiously. And they're going to charge Walrick. He's far away from his portal, but Nerd Rage gets stunned up. Cars running for Hammer of Justice. This is where they need utility from the Shadow Priest. They're going to use Soul Shape as the first mobility cooldown. So Walrix is on the run, but Nerd Rage is able to keep up with this. And Walrix is not able to get too far. He's in line of sight of his portal, so if he uses it, he can just get charged. Oh, Nerd Rage leaps in for a fear. Or can maybe use the Demonic Gateway when Kara gets back to him. It's basically the Ret, I think, is the main target. They should wait until the Ret Paladin is connected and then use mobility. Entangling Roots coming out from Fnaubers here in this position. I like the Cyclone adaptation too. Cycloning the Ret Paladin stops him from healing, stops him from attacking. So I think that is a good change from Fnaubers right in that moment in time. I would like to see a Nursel's Vortex on the portal here. Maybe even trade on any resolve. They use some cooldowns. I like what Zot's doing, going after Tana. He should just be trying to solo the Resto Shaman whenever he's in the middle of the map. Nerd Rage gets stunned up by Fnaubers. Fnaubers doing a lot in this game here to support Walrix. Walrix now going to portal, but the Freedom is up. This is where Mind Control spam, some crowd control needs to come out, and they're going to use a Maim stun on Kara. If Fnaubers can bank up combo points and use Maim stun on Freedom, that's definitely going to be important for his team. But Nerd Rage is getting uptime. Tana's pushing forward. Kara is about to get uptime as well. Nice entangling root on the Stormbolt. Look at these roots. Fnaubers is playing a really good game number 2 here. There's the Unbound Freedom. This is where they need their stuns. They're going to use Ursul's Vortex. They purge off one of the Freedoms. Good reaction there by Zot, but they are getting uptime. There's no cooldown, so maybe it's only during Avenging Wrath Walrick needs to really be afraid. He should be trying to get some pressure out. But as soon as that Avenging Wrath comes up, he's got to get out of there. They're going to drop the Efflorescence on the ground. I think they're running Freedom Efflorescence as well, which is a nice change by Fnauber. So anytime Walrix gets healed by the Efflorescence... No, he gets stunned behind the pillar! He's out of line of sight of Fnauber. They double stun lock him. Zot pulls him out of there like, what are you doing back there, Walrick? I'll help you out. Pulling him back to safety. Fnaubers looks like he was sitting down for a drink, but this is Warbreaker. These are the cooldowns they need to be afraid of. So Walrix is going to avoid this fight. Zot's going to Greater Fade. And they're trying to go after Zot, realizing the Warlock is going to be too mobile. And now they get Dispersion just by looking at him the wrong way. And he actually gets reconnected to. This is not a good situation for Zot. And Tegridy Damp need to readjust strategy. Walrick needs to do an immense amount of damage if he's not the target.
He's trying his best right now, getting out UAs, getting out Drain Lives, trying to get the pressure rolling. We kind of talked about, some of the weaknesses of the Shaman, that spread pressure healing, but I feel like that's one of the strengths of the Retribution Paladin, just kind of back that up and kind of pick up some of the weaknesses that maybe the Shaman has, and I think that's why this composition is so strong. Walrix now, obviously the main target of choice in this match. Door Shadows, hello, Walrix, and now Walrix is going to have to definitely see if he has any mobility left. Maybe he doesn't want to commit it just yet until Kara actually gets on top of him. It looks like he's just going to get aggressive with this unending resolve. They're going after Tana, and they take him down. They're just throwing caution to the wind right now, trading their defense for pure offense. This could end up biting them bad, but if they can get the Divine Shield, maybe it's worth it. We'll have to wait and see. They really haven't gotten any cooldowns. So unfortunate. Tegridy Damp, they really went all in there, trading that unending resolve, and now they didn't get anything. They didn't get the Divine Shield. They didn't get the Trinket Link. They didn't get Ascendance. The only thing they got was Astral Shift, but I feel like that's more than a fair trade for Cowana Gaming. They're going to be happy with what just happened.
Yeah, Warwick's traded his Trinket and he's already resolved, and here comes the glass! Oh my goodness, that's a Void Shift. That was the fastest Void Shift ever from Zot right there. Warwick's for sure. The glass was about to shatter. There was a couple of cracks in the windshield right there, but it looks like he's going to be fine. Tana, though, has to use his Trinket right there. I do believe on Shadow Priest Silence and trade out his Ascendance. So pressure from both teams right now. Tana was on about 10% HP right there. Now they're going after Zot, but Zot has his Dispersion. Now, I like that they hit Zot when they absolutely cannot reach Warwick just to have somebody to attack. But I think Zot is more of a target that you just hit to stack up your Holy Power. You just stack up your damage, get some Rage. It's like... you're just attacking a little bit there, pooling up your damage, and then you go and dump it all on Warwick's here. The man on your screen right now, running around in his soul shape, teleporting very nicely here. And now Nerd Rage got to connect. Oh, he teleported into Kara. If Kara can reconnect here with the Unbound Freedom, it's going to be GG. They counterspell Nerd Rage, though. Oh, here we go. Here comes the glass. The glass is going to shatter, maybe. There's the Iron Bark is going to be enough. Nature's Swiftness comes through. Fnobbers saving the day right there. That was an incredibly close call, and that's all because Warwick did one misstep there, teleporting into the face of Kara. If he makes a mistake like that again, he could just be the game. Still another minute and a half or so on his unending resolve here. Actually, a straight minute left on that cooldown. They don't have any Iron Bark for a while here as well, and they don't have Void Shift, so Warwick's going to trinket out of that stun, but if they can connect on him one more stun now before he has that unending resolve, I think it's game over.
Oh, power infusion, big power play here by Walrick and Zot. They need to get a kill with this if they want to really build momentum, but there's so many cooldowns to trade for Cowana. They're not even getting the cooldown trades right now. They need to get pressure. Malefic Rapture's coming up, but here's the Hammer of Justice. Is Walrick going to falter and fall? He portals away from the Wake of Ashes, line of sighting, drain lifing Tana. They caught Tana out in midfield, trying to go after him, but not enough damage. There's the Unbound Freedom, Avenging Wrath. Walrick is in trouble. He needs some help from his team. Where is he going to get it? He's into another stun, down to half. Big burst damage comes in, big heal out from Fnobbers. Nature Swiftness back to full, but Zot's stacked up on Walrick, and they're swapping over to him and trying to kill him in a pummel. Can they take him out? He's got Dispersion. Nerd Rage is absolutely smacking him. He's going to use that Void Elf racial to escape to safety here, and Tana looks like he may be trying to drink. This will be devastating if Tana gets mana. He gets stood up for a moment, trying to reposition. And it looks like he might be stuck in combat, not able to get a drink. And Fnobbers actually is drinking. Fnobbers going to have a massive mana advantage. They stun up Nerd Rage out in midfield, but now Fnobbers get swapped to. I don't think they're going to kill the Resto Druid with the Auto Frenzy Regen and Barkskin. It's almost a bit of a bait, leaving a Shadow Priest and a Warlock. I would have rather Fnobbers just tank them for a moment and let his DPS free cast. I mean, look at Tanamite just died to nothing. He's actually just dying to the Shadow Priest. Spirit Link Totem has to come down. And that's a big cooldown from Tana's pocket. He's very low on mana. Unfortunately, though, Avenging Wrath is up for Kara. They need to be very terrified of this cooldown. This is where we saw Walrix get cracked immediately, and Zod is the target at the moment for Kara. Nerd Rage is splitting. Split damage actually could be good here. Nerd Rage is going to have a hard time sticking to a Warlock, but Kara will. Splitting for a moment to try and win on mana, but they're already behind on mana, so maybe not an option. Divine Toll comes out, big hit on Walrick. He's out on the far side of this map trying to avoid them, but they've both reconnected. Double Howl Terror, Portal, and Fnobber's trying to jump and keep up, but gets stunned out midfield. Now they swap to Zot. He's going to fade the swap. Good fade reaction time by Zot during the Avenging Wrath avatar, but it's not over. He uses Demonic Gateway. Is he going to be able to escape to safety? Nerd Rage is leaping after him. They're sticking to the Shadow Priest. Walrix needs to pressure them back now. Avenging Wrath is over. If Walrick can free cast a lot of Malefic Raptures here, he could easily go for the kill. Silence onto Tana. Unstable Afflictions loaded up onto the whole team. This is it for Walrix. This is his moment. He's got distance. He's in the back line, just casting Malefic Raptures and Drain Life, trying to power down, but Kar actually procs a Final Reckoning, Avenging Wrath. They're going to fear it. Nice Psychic Scream timing. They need to control Kara for a couple more seconds. Looks like they'll survive it. And Walrix is still just trying to get as much damage out. They're going after Walrix now in the corner, which will leave Zot open. They need to stop Tana from drinking. Tana's off screen right now, and I'm curious if he is able to get any mana back. And doesn't look like it. Double Shadow Fury. Nice Shadow Fury. Nerd Rage is rotting down. Integrity Damp, they've played to the point of potentially no return, with Dampening at 22% and their Shaman at 20% mana. I'm not sure if Cowana Gaming can stay alive long enough to end this game.
Yeah, this might be their moment. This is looking like a 23% dampening. Tana could get dropped right now. He goes for a Dispel. A little bit of off heals coming in from Kara. At the same time, though, things become very unstable for Tegridy Damp. Robber's going to have to heal through a lot of pressure if they can stay on target. Cowana Gaming going to be struggling. Divine Shield still available. Nerd Rage with no cooldowns. Things are unraveling very quickly here. This is the Ascendance. This is the final moment. And Tana might just go down. He does. Tegridy Damp. They put a point on the board, but let's keep in mind this is by far their best map. I mean, you can bet Cowana Gaming, they're going to a hook point after this one. They want no part of these large maps, but Tegridy Damp doing a great job using their mobility brilliantly, playing the long game and finding a victory. Well done.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what canceled Tana's heal there in the end. It looked like he was going to top himself with that Ascendance, but wasn't able to get the heals. Kara also using his bubble there a little bit late, but yeah, Tegridy Damp, they're able to outlast this other game here, but like you mentioned, we're probably going to go somewhere small moving forward. You're going to see it here on the replay, so at this point, Warwick has been doing a great job so far kiting with his team. Fnobbers as well, doing a great job managing his mana and also just keeping Warwick's alive, dropping the Entangling Roots, the Cyclones, all that good stuff. And here, let's see what happens to Tana. So Tana gets Psychic Horror, and he takes a big Void Eruption here from Zod, and Warwick's going to start loading up the UAs here as well. So a lot of rot damage. There's the intervene onto Kara, and now Tana pops the Ascendance pretty early here, drops the Earthen Wall Totem, and then here he just cancels his own heal. He just walks there, and he actually just walked into the wall and canceled it. But I don't know if he was gonna get that off or not. But I feel like at that point, you probably just try.
I mean, I guess maybe it was he thought Ascendance would heal more. Maybe he thought he was gonna line Kara, so he came back in line of Kara. Was trying to. I mean, Kara definitely, if he had Divine Shield and just tossed out Word of Glories there, I think they would have recovered, although I don't know for how much longer. Tegridy Damp just played a really good defensive game on that map. They did exactly what I was saying that they needed to do after game one. It's harder to do on the maps I think that Cowana Gaming are going to select, so this is a series I think that could go to game 5, and then Tegridy Damp need to figure out how to win on a small map.
Yeah, they most definitely are, because we're getting that draft process started, student, and I think you guys are going to be spot on with your prediction here. So it's going to be very, very difficult here on out for Tegridy Damp. There it is, hook point, same composition on the side of Tegridy Damp. Not much, like you guys have already touched on, really not much that these guys can do to try and protect Wally this time around here, because you could bet they're going to be going very, very strong, very aggressive here into this team on the side of Tegridy Damp. So what do we want to see? What do we want to be looking for, Zico, in terms of defense for Tegridy?
For Tegridy Damp, I mean, they're going to have to run a lot of laps here on this map, and it's all for them. It's all about never let anybody connect onto Warwicks. If they do, if Kara and Nerdrage both connect onto Warwicks, Warwick always needs to have something. He needs to have an Iron Bark, he needs to get a Life Grip, he needs to get a Port, a Gateway, he needs to have his Trinket for the stun. He can never get caught in a stun with no Iron Bark, without anything, and just get evaporated like he did in the first game. So for them, if they avoid that situation, that's good for them. And for Zot, because he's usually the one who's going to be standing free, he just wants to put out as much pressure as possible. Now, normally to kill a ret, you have to CC the healer and kill the ret, but because they're playing Shadow Priest Warlock, they don't really have that much CC, but they do have a decent amount of lockdown with Psychic Horror and Disarm and even Fnobber's bashes, or Fnobber's extra main stance and stuff. So what they should do, and what they have been doing, is they just go after the Resto Shaman. Anytime the Shaman pokes his head out, you just target him, send him back to the pillar, and then the ret has to overextend where he can't be healed anymore by the Shaman, and you split those two up by attacking the Shaman anytime he shows himself. So that's what Zot needs to do here. And one thing that Nerdridge was doing last game, that was pretty interesting, is he was playing the Leper legendary, the Heroic Leap has 3
The Incredible
charges.
Hulk legendary.
Exactly, the Incredible Hulk legendary. So he was he opted for more mobility. Typically, we see the when you execute, your next Mortal Strike does 25% more damage, stacking 2 times. So you get, if you do 2 executes, you get a big Mortal Strike after that. Usually that's what Warriors opt for. But because of the nature of that last map, Nerdrage wasn't able to go for that. He instead opted for more mobility. So on this map, Nerdrage could also be playing more damage here and get away with it. So if he does that, it's also going to be something that Tegridy Damp needs to consider.
Yeah, most definitely. Got to keep an eye out here on positioning heading into this next game. It's actually absolutely crucial right now. The pressure is definitely going to be on Tegridy Damp on this side. Not a lot of room here for this double caster composition. Hook Point, the smallest map here in the AWC. So let's see what they can do. Maybe they can get another win. Tied up right now 1-1 though, and this was Cowana Gaming's map choice. This is home turf for these guys. So let's see what they can do heading into game number 3.
I'm a bit worried for Tegridy Damp. I mean, I feel like we saw what happened when the Ret Warrior connected to Walrick on the Grand, which was bigger than this map. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Fnobber stepped up a lot in that last game. Usually what happens with the Resto Druid is you get lulled into this playstyle of just sitting 40 yards away and being a heal bot. But I think in these comps, you need to be rooting, vortexing, stunning a lot, and being actually aggressive So if Fnaubers can step up here and play like he did in game 2, perhaps they could take the small map away. If they do, I think they're going to win the series.
Oh, okay. That was so important. Fnaubers actually got the stun on Nerd Rage. They tried to deny Walrick's gateway early on, but fortunately getting backed up, he was able to drop and take damage now on Walrix. He uses the Demonic Circle and the Soul Shape. He wants no part of this fight and that Avenging Wrath. He is on the run, max mobility, get away from me. And let's see if he can hold on. Has a Demonic Circle. Let's see if he can actually use it to teleport behind the pillar. Using the Iron Bark right now, just getting. Actually, it still has 10 seconds on cooldown, so he's kind of run out of mobility for the time being, maybe needing a life grip, but the Iron Bark is back up exactly what Sid said. Anytime Walrick is going to get hit, he needs those cooldowns to kind of power through and make him a little bit more durable, not so squishy. Still taking some damage, trying to maneuver away from his portal right now, but the snares from Corruption going to be on Kara as well as Nerd Rage. Big Unbound Freedom here, and this is a scary moment. Hammer of Justice on Fnaubers. Walrick, kind of all alone. Double Howl of Terror, very nicely done. Frees himself up. Fnaubers now to the crowd control. It looks like Tegridy Damp hold on.
Yeah, but no Iron Bark here, and they're getting uptime with the Warwicks. If they can get some damage here, that could be big for them. There's a Stormbolt out of line for Fnaubers here. Big damage, big hit. The glass is almost shattered there, but Warwicks he is able to survive, porting away there to safety, and he's still not out of the woods yet, though. Another Hammer of Justice onto Fnaubers. He gates away. No Master Spell for this one, this time around, and Warwicks is potentially in position here to get gripped by Zot. Nice Hex there to follow up that Hammer of Justice onto Fnaubers. And this is all because of the map. The reason why Fnaubers is getting put in crowd control, it might look like it's because Cowana are playing better. It's not because of that. Well, I mean, they're playing good, but that's not the reason. It's just because of the map. There's much less distance between Warwicks and Fnaubers. That allows Kara to sometimes tab over and get some crowd control there. And what did you see, Sid?
Fnaubers is just controlling Kara so well. He had Vortex down on the port. Kara got rooted into a stun. This is exactly what Walrix needs. You want just a Resto Druid like this to support you. You know, when you're fragile and you could just shatter at any time, you need a strong supportive healer to help you out. And right now, though, Avenging Wrath is up. Walrix is just going to trade and go aggressive, and they're trying to kill Tana in a counter assault. They Howl of Terror, but Tana saw it coming. He's got Earthen Wall down, so it's reducing a lot of pressure. He still actually might die through it. Caught into a stun, and he needs help from Kara. Their entire team is rotting down at this point. They may have to use Ascendance. They got to be careful. They can't afford to lose on their best map. He's mind controlled at low health. Everybody is dying. This mind control could be game winning. Tana goes for Ascendance, gets feared for a moment on it. Trying to recover with Ascendance. Fnaubers jumps in, stuns up Nerd Rage. Walrix has distance. He's able to free cast some Unstable Afflictions there in the corner. A very important spell to protect all the dots and roots of their comp, but now he's caught in a Stormbolt far away from his portal. Leap of Faith pulling him away, but that may not be enough mobility. He's going to use Demonic Circle, get towards his gateway, maybe kite towards the back end of the room. I like the Efflorescence build that Fnaubers is running as well. I wasn't even thinking about that as a choice, but you can put that Efflorescence mushroom on the ground and it will remove slows. So Walrix can actually just get a freedom at the same time, much like Kara can, and that's alleviating a lot of the mobility, actually, that Cowana Gaming has. So Ursul's Vortex is down, but it's not comboed with any mobility, so I don't really like the value of this Vortex. They're actually able to still even hit Walrix during it. They're going to get pulled and still be able to hit him. So he's going to try and kite with that Efflorescence, that green circle. He's running through it to get the freedom effect. Oh, Fnaubers is spamming it. It's pretty expensive to spam it that much. He's got to be a little bit careful in terms of mana management using it. Walrix is trying to kite around the green circle and then portal back to Tana. Toss out some dots. Nerd Rage has managed to reconnect. Is there a gateway? Walrix going to use Demonic Gateway, but Leap reconnects with Sharpen. Kara's getting there. Oh, if Kara gets here onto Walrix, he's going to be trouble. Stampeding Roar. Oh, he gets stunned on the Stampeding Roar. Nice punish by Nerd Rage. Trying to stay on target here. When's that Leap of Faith up? They're going to need to use that soon. They've got Power Infusion coming up. Dark Soul. They could turn this around quite quickly if Kara and Tana aren't careful with the mind games during that Void Form. Void Form is up. They're trying to go after Tana. They got him out in midfield here. Double Howl Terror onto the DPS. Unstable Afflictions are getting lobbed out. Zot is getting ready to go after Tana. Is Tana ready? He's going to use Grounding Totem. And they actually use a Fear there to disrupt the Warlock a bit. Earthen Wall is down. They're trying to wait for Earthen Wall Totem, but how much time do they have to wait? Dark Soul is already rolling. They need to try and get pressure, but Kara's now got Avenging Wrath. Walrix portals immediately away from that, but he's still in trouble trying to use a Soul Shape. They're getting uptime. Scary moment for Walrix. Fnaubers cannot heal through this damage output. Walrix needs to avoid the fight. They stun up Fnaubers. Walrix escapes. They swap over to Fnaubers. Fnaubers going to use Bark Skin and pray, basically, that he doesn't go down, but as Necrolord, I don't think he will. He should be able to recover. with that frictionless coding. Now they're back onto Walrick. Zot didn't get nearly as much done as I was anticipating him to be able to during that moment. Likely just trying to help out as much as possible. Mana is still even between these teams. Not what I was expecting. I thought Cowana Gaming would actually be significantly ahead. And Tegridy Damp still have potential.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, Tegridy Damp, mana's not looking too bad for them whatsoever. They've been managing to hold on, rotate through their cooldowns. It was a little bit later on Dampening where they finally powered through and took down Tana. So kind of just waiting for that moment. They just have to hold on. Keep using the mobility. Keep working through your defensive cooldowns. Try to avoid damage as much as possible. Stall the game. That's the game plan here for Tegridy Damp. Really use Dampening to your advantage. Let's see, Efflorescence Mushroom, Wolf Freedom, double Unbound Freedom. This is a very scary moment for Walrick. Could potentially want to use his circle, but it's not up for another 3 seconds. Tana actually just getting soloed right now by Zot, putting out big pressure. And it looks like the circle will come in. Walrick is managing to get away with all his mobility. Good pressure coming in. This is where all that rot damage finally starting to add up. But Tana has answers. He's got Ascendance, he's got Spirit Link if he needs it. Still a lot of defense that Tegridy Damp has to kind of work through. Finally reconnecting to their target. Walrick could be in some trouble here. Not much mobility. This could be the life grip coming in, or no Iron Bark going to be available as well. So Fnobber's kind of running out of defensive options. That uptime really punishing his mana bar as well. Finally, Cowana Gaming have that lead. 10% dampening. Walrick's going to be on the run. He gets grip as well as the stampeding roar, but Kara and Nerd Rage chasing him down. The Divine Steed as well as that Unbound Freedom providing them a lot of mobility to reconnect. Circle comes in for Walrick once again, just cutting them around this small map. And honestly, I thought they'd have a lot more uptime on a map like Hook Point, but I gotta say, Tegridy Damp doing a great job still utilizing all that mobility, even on this small map, to make it really difficult for Cowana Gaming to find their target.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure right now onto Tana and Kara here. Tana and Kara just ducking for some cover behind the pillar right now. Tana with his Ascendance active, doing what he needs to do there to pick his team up. There's the wings now from Kara. No trinket on Warwicks, no trinket on Fnobbers. If they can get a double stun situation here, Hammer of Justice on Warwicks and a stun on Fnobbers with Stormbolt, that's going to be game over. But Fnobbers might be able to Shadow Meld it, so still opportunity here. They're just going to Stormbolt Warwicks and go for it. Raw damage here. Fnobbers has the Iron Bark. Fnobber's mana is looking tied right now with the Shaman, which is not what you want here. DR, Hammer of Justice, still decent damage there. Actually, Warwick's just going to gate away there back to his team. I think Zot has his Leap of Faith available as well here. If they connect onto Warwick's, they could pull him, and then Fnobbers is going to have to do some work. There it is, Leap of Faith. Now Fnobbers potentially needs to put down his Vortex here. He's going for a drink. This is a dangerous situation. They are going to get uptime on Warwick's here, and Fnobbers is in a fear. This could just be it here. Big damage coming out. Do they have anything out? Tana is getting in position there, drops the Sky Fury Totem. They do force the Unending Resolve with that push. Very nicely done there by Cowana Gaming at 20% dampening right now. Tegridy Damp's dots are starting to really do some work, and Nerd Rage is playing that execute build with his Mortal Strike getting a damage buff if he can reach his target. Kara right now still chasing, trying to reach Warwick's here. They get an interrupt here onto Warwick's. There is the Vortex from Fnobbers. Silence onto Tana. He's going to use his Sanctuary to remove that. Big damage here onto Warwick still. Fnobbers now also forced to use his Trinket there in that push, and Kara's going to have his wings in 25 seconds. If he can connect on Warwick's with those wings, that's going to be game over. If they can force the Iron Bark of Fnobbers before they pop those wings, for sure it's going to be game over in favor of Cowana Gaming.
They've got Dark Soul and Shadow Fiend and Power Infusion. I feel like they need to win with these cooldowns. If they're going to pop Power Infusion, this is where they need to win the game. Tegridy Damp need to get aggressive, go all out. They're popping Soul Rot, trying to take out Tana. Tana's going to wall. Kara gets blasted down. They need to win the game here. Can they close it out? They've got a lot of pressure with the Dark Lair. Kara's just going to Divine Shield, take no risks. Pop the Avenging Wrath and try and go for the kill onto the Warlock while being immune. Walrick uses Gateway to try and escape to safety. There's still good Rot pressure across the board. Tana hasn't fully recovered. He's in the full mind control at this point. They're trying to just finish the game. Iron Bark is still available, but he's stunned up and not able to access it into a full fear. Now Walrus could be in trouble out in midfield. Nerd Rage connects. Zod intercepts with a fear, but only for a moment as they are getting uptime. Walrick into the Stormbolt. Fnobbers has Iron Bark. He needs likely to lob it out. He's trying to use Cenarian Ward, but this is Warbreaker. This is a lot of damage from the Warrior. He's powering through it with such limited mana. Ursul's Vortex pinning the rep, but not the Warrior, not the highest value of Vortex there. Walrick trying to kite in that Efflorescence with a double Howl Terror, getting out of line of sight with decent value on the Innervate, but they're still so far behind on mana. Stunlock on Fnobbers. Zot is desperately trying to get a kill onto Tana, but Tana now ducks into the Earthen Wall Totem's protection. Walrus repositions portals out of line of sight, but they're in hot pursuit. They actually reconnect. Walrus runs in line of sight. They try and root up Nerd Rage. Walrus going to get stunned up on his Soul Shape. That's devastating, but Tana might get soloed. A very important moment here. If Zot can get the kill onto Tana and take away Cowana Gaming's best map right before Cowana Gaming was going to win this, it's definitely going to, I would say, win them the series at that point. Walrus is so dangerously low, still locked down in crowd control. He's easily going to get chopped here. Void Shift. Zot saving the day, redirecting his health bar. Now big Shadow Crash onto Kara. Kara has no Divine Shield, but a Hex at the same time. Walrus is getting blasted down at 1% and will be taken out. Zot gets stunned up. He trinkets, but I think it's too far gone at this point. He can't kill 50% health on all three players. Such a close game, although this was their worst map. So I mean, if this goes to something like Dalaran or Runes of Lordaeron that are much better maps for Tegridy Dam, they could still do it.
I mean, that was actually kind of crazy how close it was. I really feel like Cowana Gaming was going to win that a lot more convincingly. It still took a ton of dampening. Eventually, Fnobbers just got out of mana. But Tegridy Damp, they did a really good job using that map basically to its full potential. The way they kited around it, created space, made it really difficult for Cowana Gaming to have uptime. That's why we saw that match get so close. But I mean, at this point in the game, they have to trade out a lot. So it's a scary moment for Tana. He trades out Ascendance. Kara has no Divine Shield, but Walrus is slowly running out of mobility. And unfortunately, at this point, you really just can't tank the damage anymore. And the only way Fnobbers can really stay ahead is by burning through his mana. But it's these micro CC chains. See the full Hammer of Justice into a full Hex. He's got about 5 seconds left on his trinket. And that is more than enough time where Walrus can't get away for Kara and Nerd Rage to take him down. I mean, they were basically at the finish line. I feel like if Tegridy Damp, they could have held on just a little bit longer. They got through the Divine Shield. They got through the Ascendance. They basically got through everything. And they were just about to win. So Cowana Gaming, although they won that, still can't be feeling super confident, especially if we go to a larger map.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. So many times where Tegridy Damp almost had that one in, and like Sid already said, that's going to be their most difficult map. So heading to this next one, it's going to be Tegridy Damp's choice. So I feel like it's very, very likely, Zico, that we see a victory from Tegridy Damp heading into this next game. I mean, especially considering how just the difference between game number one on the Grand for this team for Tegridy Damp compared to them on Hook Point just now. It just seems like night and day almost.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing a great series. To be honest, the first game on Nagran, they got caught off guard, but like your cat kind of suggests in the background, we're definitely going to the sands of Tolvir here. There's no way we're not. There it is. And we're going to see... Because
he's in the sun?
Yeah, exactly. Because he's a cat and they like sand. I don't know.
That makes sense to the cat.
It's a litter box.
Right.
Exactly. We're in a big litter box here, and obviously Warwick is going to be the litter here, so he needs to just hide as deep as possible on this map.
What Cowana Gaming are the shovel? Cowana Gaming are the shovel about to take him out of the litter box.
Cowana Gaming are a bunch of dogs
gone too far.
digging in the sands and looking for it.
You went yesterday to sucking up to the European players to comparing Walrick to cat litter.
Well,
this is not going to get people. This is not going to get people to queue with you.
Do you think it's a coincidence that Ratapai retired right after my comments yesterday? I don't think so. He's been hitting me up already. That university stuff. It's just it's just a facade.
I feel like Zico doesn't mind trash talking warlocks because he doesn't want to play with a warlock. He can say whatever he wants.
Well, it depends. It depends on C9's games later. We'll see. But
yeah, then next weekend. Oh wow, Walrus is an amazing.
He's so good. He's the best warlock ever. I love that guy. So nice. Mark. Yeah, I think you're right, CPTs. That's gonna be him next week. But I mean, all jokes aside, Wally, very, very incredible player. We've seen him time and time again here in the AWC, always in the top 8, always playing in cup matches. So, we know that this team as individuals, they're very, very skilled as a team as well. I mean, they're kind of in the middle there, despite, that we're seeing them struggle right here in this matchup. And it's just kind of not the best matchup for these guys. But yeah, jokes aside, very, very skilled player. I don't think he's... Cat litter is kind of a harsh metaphor, but I think they could potentially pull off a victory here. I think they could tie it up. I would love to see it. So we're going to find out very, very shortly here while these teams get ready to go. But like we said, 12 runs the map, and we are not seeing any comp changes for either side here, which definitely makes sense. I mean, Cowana Gaming Ven is looking pretty good on this comp especially. So yeah, we'll have to find out how we're going to do here. Are they going to shut this down 3-1, do you think?
I'm a bit surprised. Honestly, I feel like one thing we saw from Cowana Gaming that I liked and I want to see more of is Nixie on the Death Knight. I feel like on this large map, you can negate a lot of the mobility with the Death Knight. Maybe it becomes a little bit too unstable without the Retribution Paladin helping out with some heals, but it is an option. I feel like Warrior Death Knight, in theory, could be really, really good at chasing down a Warlock. I mean, you have Chains of Ice. You really can't be snared as that Death Knight. And then also with things like Delirium and Heartstop Aura, you can make some of their cooldowns take a really long time, it feels like. So, yeah, an option. But Cowana Gaming, they're going to be locking in the Ret Warrior Shaman, and they're going to be trying to make it work. But we've seen on these large maps, it is really difficult for them to stay on target.
Yeah, and we're going to see what they decide to do here. I wouldn't be surprised if Cowana Gaming just kind of sits a little bit behind the pillar here, waiting for Warwicks to just get a little bit closer and then go after him. Here we go. There's the double Unbound Freedom. They're going after Warwicks. Let's see what they can get done here. There's the first Stormbolt of the game. Trinket, Teleport, traded out. Overlapped with the Iron Mark here, though, but that was for the Avenging Wrath of Kara here. Kara is just looking like the Terminator right now, just trying to make it back to his target. Warwicks with an excellent soul shape here. Still trying to kite. Fnobers gets caught up in the intimidating shout here. Nerdrage is going to use the Door of Shadows, trying to reconnect to his target, but that is going to be the wings of Kara, only really getting them the trinket of Warwicks here. So, and that was also the avatar of Nerdrage. Second Stormbolt coming in. There's no Iron Bark for this one, so Fnobers going to have to do some work here. Nature Swiftness is going to potentially be enough. Warwicks trying to get in range for his portal. He can use his teleport here after he gets out his dots. He's in a very safe position right now, and Fnobers can play aggressive here as well, trying to get some dots, trying to get some pressure, and so far it's looking really good for Tegridy Damp. They've had a great opener, probably the best opener they've had so far.
I mean, they're just running circles right now. They're finding their footing in this kind of race for Walrix to run the entire game, trying to basically escape from Slender Man, the Ret Paladin, and Warrior. They're just chasing him, and he's collecting the notes around, trying to escape to safety. We see good pressure across the board at the moment. Walrix caught in a stun, but gets gripped away. I love the or the Leap of Faith there. Good Ursul's Vortex. You always want to combine that with a portal or combine that with a Leap of Faith. Look at Nerdrage Kara. They can't move. And that's because Fnobers is them totally locked down. But here's the Unbound Freedom. They dispel it instantly and fear the Unbound Freedom. This is perfect play at the moment from Tegridy Damp in terms of deflection. Now they're getting set up for the Demonic Circle, and they're going to howl and use Demonic Circle so they can't immediately leap. Walrix is trying to get out of range of charge and is doing a decent job so far. Nerdrage goes for Stormbolt. How are they going to deal with this? Entangling Roots and Efflorescence to Freedom Walrix, but he's double stunned. Mind Games from Zot gets wind sheared. Walrix trying to kite with that Efflorescence Freedom and running that Night Fae Covenant with Corain for the Wild Hunt to get extra movement speed on top of the Efflorescence. Definitely really good synergy from Tegridy Damp's build here on 12 run. Knobber's now re-stealthing, jumping in and stunning, but Car's going to use Blessing of Protection to actually get aggressive, break that stun lock, and try and get uptime. Walrus repositions to the Demonic Gateway, and this is actually a better view, I think, of the map for watching the Warlock kiting around the map, as it's basically just going to be Walrus's positioning away from Kara and Nerdrage.
If we can zoom in a little bit, this would be perfect.
Yeah, it's nice to see that here it is. I mean, Walrus going to be using the Demonic circle, getting away. If the pink and brown are on the purple for too long, that is in a lot of trouble. So just watch out for that with this camera view. Walrus still just on the run. He's getting interrupted here. But Fnobers has been doing a good job maintaining his mana. Still about 2 minutes away from dampening at this point. Tana in the midfield. It's basically, and we're talking a lot about Walrus trying to get away, trying to survive. And it can be scary throughout the entire game. But at the same time, Zot is responsible for creating a lot of pressure here. He's basically just having a bit of a one-on-one with Tana, getting dots on Kara and Nerdrage, and then just going for these plays. Tana right now, you can see, is in a mind control. Can they take him down? Big Ascendance, just full health immediately. But this 1v1 between Zot and Tana, really, really important for Tegridy Damp to actually develop pressure. So pay attention to that as well. I mean, as much as Walrus needs to just survive, at the same time, if they don't have damage, they're never going to win the game, and that's really where Zot comes in.
Yeah, and now Warwick stuck here in a Stormbolt. He's going to go look for his Demonic Circle potentially here, getting a few dots out, applying his slows, getting that damage rolling, and we are going to see that Earthen Wall Totem getting a lot of value here, actually. Nerd Rage going to Fear of Knobburst. This is a good time to teleport, but he's kicked. If they can follow that up with a stun, it doesn't look like they have it. Warwick's going to Gateway, or teleport to safety. He still has his Gateway as well to work with here. Now Tana versus Zot is the other 1v1.
Mind
There's
games.
the silence coming out, big damage, but Tana is going to trade out his
Mind
trinket,
control!
his Spirit
He's
Link
gonna
Totem.
die in it!
He gets mind control.
Oh!
This is huge, and he's going to go down. Beautiful place there by Zot. Look at Fnobber. She's like, let's go. Beautiful smile there from Fnobbers as well, as Zot just takes control over the game there with an excellent mind control. They kill off the Spirit Link Totem, and they get the Shadow Word Depth there in time.
This is kind of scary. I feel like Tegridy Damp, the 3-person roster, 3-man roster, they're playing the Shadow Priest, Warlock, Druid, all on their main classes. I really thought this series was going to look a lot different. I mean, people kind of joke around. I even saw some Warlocks in the chat talking about Warlocks and how fragile they are. If you play it really well, you use all that mobility, you can find these win conditions. And I mean, it's not like Nerd Rage, Kara, and Tana don't know what they're doing. It just can be a real struggle. If you don't overlap your defensive cooldowns and your mobility, you can kite for a really long time. And that is a lot of time for Zot to kind of just develop momentum and pressure. All that rot damage really starts adding up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to see it here again. And I mean, a lot of it is the map, but also this was kind of a scary moment here. Works. This was when he got kicked, I believe, and then he dropped quite low here. So Fnobbers trying to get some pre-heals going. There's the kick we're talking about. There's the fear. If they have a stun here, this could be massive. And there's a teleport. And now Tana, I just want you to pay attention to Tana. He gets feared into a Shadow Crash, Vampiric Touch. There's the silence. He trinkets, drops the Spirit Link. He gets killed off. Actually, they don't even kill him off. They just walk him out of the Spirit Link. And then he cancels the mind control, gets the Shadow Word Death off, and that's it. And there's no grounding totem or anything that Tana really could have done there to avoid that situation. That's just Zot, really carrying.
Wow. All right. Well, Tegridy Damp putting themselves back in this match. They've tied it up right now. We are in a situation here where the 7th seeded team heading into this circuit series for the European region could potentially be beating Cowana Gaming, the 3rd seeded team. This would be absolutely huge for them going into the rest of these series. I mean, I feel like this is already looking so good for this team, for Tegridy Damp. They should definitely be proud of themselves no matter how this next game ends up. But I mean, I'm just absolutely so impressed with Tegridy Damp at the moment. So definitely, is my mic weird again?
It's not that it's muted. It's that it's to us personally. It's having a tough time.
I'm sorry. I was wondering what the face was. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'll restart it in a sec. But I was just saying I'm very impressed with Tegridy Damp at the moment, Sid.
Yeah, Tegridy Damp. I think this is kind of predicted this. I thought Tegridy Damp should win on the big maps if they play well, specifically the Resto Druid. They're using the entire kit of the comp, whereas before it felt like they were playing as 3 individual players. It was like Walrix is playing his own game, Zot's playing his own game, and Fnobbers is playing his own game, and they were losing doing that. But now it's everybody is playing together, and when they're playing together, they got that perfect pincer at the end where everybody is locked down in the middle of the map. Everyone was free casting, everyone was smiley face. I think they can pull that off on Runes of Lordaeron. I actually think Runes of Lordaeron not maybe the best pick. Maybe they're just trying to avoid line of sight so that the warrior can charge on port. But open field means that Tana is way easier to kill. So this map could backfire. Usually when a game goes like this or a series goes like this, you expect the map selector in the final game to win. But with Tegridy Damp's performance on hook point and the fact that there are actually no pillars on this map, I think actually could benefit them more than hurt them. So this would be big for Tegridy Damp to take this, and they'd be up 2 series so far in the circuit, playing a composition that I think in the last patch was underdog, maybe even like terrible status in the last patch. But in this patch, it seems like if you're playing these perfect games, you can make seemingly bad matchups good.
Don't leave us, Fnobbers.
Oh, he's got to go to that. Oh, he's back.
Had to go buy
He
him.
needed to get more water. He ran out of water.
Oh, yeah. Well, smart. The pre-drink. I like it. All right, well, Ruins of Lordaeron. How you feeling about that, Sid?
I think it says Zico predicted, and I know Zico's tired of it, but I'm not, so...
I'm not. I'm sorry, Sid.
Deal with it.
Go ahead.
We're not there yet. I'll save
Yeah,
it.
we're not there
There's
yet.
a
We
better
gotta wait.
moment than now.
Patience,
You can't just
Zico.
force these types of
Patience.
things. Like, hey, you can't just artificially place these things. There's a natural flow for the line, and it's not now.
My bad. My mistake. Of course.
Yeah. Don't rush his creative genius, Zico. It comes with patience, but
My artistic
we're gonna see,
integrity, okay?
his artistic integrity. Exactly.
Ooh.
All right, well,
I
go
want to see
ahead.
the DK.
Go ahead, Ben.
This is where I want to see the DK.
I
Me
don't.
too.
I don't.
It's been. I was looking at their
Why don't
previous
you?
series. I feel like it's been forever since we've seen the DK for this team. I don't even think we've seen it.
I think the only reason Cowana
Shadowlands.
Gaming doesn't die in 20 seconds is Word of Glory. I think if they take Word of Glory off their team and play like Warrior DK, they die in 30 seconds.
Really? Maybe you're right.
With a shaman. If they had a different healer than a shaman, I think otherwise, but I don't want to see them do that.
What do you want to
they'll have
see
more pressure, though.
the DK with then, if they do
Warrior.
play that?
Well,
Warrior.
maybe it sucks. I mean, it definitely could be possible that it's too unstable when you don't have a hybrid healing, and they're not
Unstable.
going to go for it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit too unstable. Yeah, thanks. I didn't even mean to do that, but I'll take credit for that one. Anyways, what I was saying is the reason why I like the Death Knight just limits that Warlock mobility a lot, and sometimes that can snowball, right? So if you have enough pressure on Walrick and he's forced to just kind of play defensive, and Dot all of a sudden has to like spam out mind controls in order to survive, and Fnobbers is just spam healing, maybe that translates into less pressure overall from Tegridy Damp, but we don't really have to worry about that one. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to be the exact same matchup from basically what we've seen for all these games. So I guess the idea here is on Ruins of Lordaeron, it's not going to be as easy for Walrick to use a pillar with his demonic circle to kind of kite and get away. And it's going to be easier for Nerd Rage to actually get in range to get those charges off where he can continue to do damage. But I still feel like Walrick has a good shot. I mean, I feel like there are places you can go on this map. I think the biggest thing for Walrick is just make sure anytime he does want to use that demonic circle, he's always kiting really far away from it, and he's out of line of sight of it, basically. That way, Nerd Rage won't be able to get that portal off, and they can actually get a little bit of distance to kite and get away.
Yeah, should be interesting here. I can't wait to get this one started. This is really not where I feel like most of us would have predicted this one to end up here. Tegridy Damp looking super solid so far. They've certainly stepped it up here, especially from their first game in this series. So we'll see if they can win 2 games in a row here, winning that last game. So I don't know. Definitely could be something we'll see. They could potentially upset the number 3 seed right now in this European region. And we're getting those players locked up, ready to go. But Supatis, what do you think that opener is going to look like? Is this going to be it's going to be an aggressive game from Cowana Gaming, and kind of don't really have much of a choice here, considering the the compositions that we're seeing as well as the map size. I mean, there's not really a lot of places to hide. So
yeah, I mean, it's fitting. Runes of Lordaeron is a place that you pick to go where someone's going to die. Like this is it.
Why is that, Sid?
Well, Zico, because it's
a place for a nap also. Like
a dirt nap. It's definitely is.
I'd like to rest. I mean, it looks great.
I mean, look how we don't know what's inside that tomb. It might be a pretty comfortable coffin. You don't know.
Could be.
Is there lore behind it, or do we just?
Yeah, who's buried in the middle of the Runes of Lordaeron?
I'm sure people know. I have no idea. I'm really horrible with lore.
Is it the king that Arthas kills?
Is it? I'm sure chat. I'm sure chat knows.
His dad.
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't he king? Was it Menethil? I don't remember. Tyrannus.
I'm actually kind of excited to find out.
No, not Tyrion. Tyrannus
Is that a different
Menethil. Tyrion Fordring is a different character.
Oh, he's the guy. Yeah.
He got Gul'danned.
The ghost, right? Who's like.
Yeah, that's
rules forever.
That's his dad. That's Tyrannus.
That's the ghost.
Maybe,
right?
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what happened to Falstad.
No.
Wait,
Falstad, I guess, I mean, it's close by. Maybe.
I thought that was funny.
You're trying to fish
Right.
for a red shirt guy joke. I see. I see.
Yeah.
I didn't- I
what
didn't
happened
get
to
it.
what happened to
I didn't get it
Falstad? I
either,
mean, maybe
Zico.
we don't know.
I'm confused. That one went over
It's
my
a red
head.
shirt guy joke.
Okay,
Oh, okay,
I'm not
my
going to
bad.
explain that one.
It's too complicated to explain. I got it, Ben. It's okay. Someone in chat probably
getting-
got it. Probably lots of people in
hope
chat
so.
got it.
Probably. Yeah. Well, and you know, Zico's still recovering from his Miss Drake reference yesterday as well.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That was a
I'm not
devastating
mad.
blow.
I'm not mad. But then you're the one who keeps telling me that Drake is so amazing and there's so many good songs that Drake has made.
Okay, first of
and
all,
I just
I
thought
want to
that if I
know
make a
when
Drake
I've said that.
I just thought that if I make a Drake reference, maybe you would laugh. Like maybe you would do a fake laugh. I don't know. That's all. It's okay.
I'm gonna say something right now. I don't think you and I have ever had that conversation. I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god.
Exposed.
Are you sure about that?
So personally offended. Oh
telling-
man.
you're telling
All
me
right.
that
There's
I made
there's
up that you like
there's
Drake.
internal drama and
Yes.
romance right now. I could
Well,
see
I am telling
Zico
you that.
taking down his framed portrait of Enrique in his room right now. Just
Just
taking
gonna
it down
knock it
and-
off like you did, like Ben did with his painting a couple series earlier. But all right, I think we're seeing a delay here from one of these teams. So clearly they are, taking this last game very, very seriously. We're heading into it right now. Thank you, chat, for being patient with us while we get this one going. But it is game number 5. Winner of this next game determines winner of this series. Pressure is on this moment right here. So important. Can Tegridy Damp take down a much higher seeded team than them, or is Cowana Gaming going to take this one 3-2?
I really would, I got to call this out just because I thought it was funny and I want to see what chat was going to say, but we really missed a down goes Venruki opportunity there with who's buried in that cemetery.
Oh. Next time.
Next time. All right, well, let's see. I mean, we can get back to focusing on the game here. Tegridy Damp, once again, their main objective, keep Walrick alive at all costs. He needs to get away. They cannot have uptime. Cowana Gaming, they've selected this map for a reason, and I feel like they could wait for dampening. Is that an option? I feel like Cowana Gaming, if they have all their cooldowns and in dampening, they kind of just make a charge for Walrick. That could be an option. I actually feel like Tegridy Damp needs to kind of push the pace because they need to slowly work through those cooldowns. It'll be an overwhelming push if healing gets too low. I don't really think we'll make it to that point just because this pillar is a little bit awkward to kind of stall on. So they will be moving forward and going after Walrick. Let's see how long they can stay on target.
Yeah, let's see what they end up doing here. Warwick's kind of cornered now inside the room here. And right now, Murdrage all over him. He teleports out. He's going to use the soul shape as well. And look at Zod immediately running away from Warwick's, getting in position to drop that life grip if he needs to. Zod gets feared up. He trinkets out of that fear. And now we can expect a grip to come out here onto Warwick's the next time they connect here. There's a wind shear onto Fnaubers. Here comes the damage onto Warwick's. He's taking a decent amount here. No stun just used yet. Fnaubers now might get hexed.
Oh!
Needs to be careful. Uses the fleshcraft there, keeps himself nice and safe. Warwick gets pulled away. They swap over to Zot, and Zot looks completely fine. They're just trading out his greater fade right there. Now here comes the Stormbolt onto Warwick's Unbound Freedom. There's the wings. Here comes the pain. Warwick needs to teleport. If he teleports, he could line of sight Fnobber, so he needs to be a little bit careful. He's going to teleport. He gets a Howl of Terror with that teleport as well. He's going to actually use that aggressively to get a few dots rolling there onto Tana. Nicely done there by Warwick. Now he's going to drain life on top of the tomb here on match point on Runes of Lordaeron here, Sid.
All right, Runes of Lordaeron. The intensity is rising. To see Divine Toll come out, and they're actually going after Zot a lot more in game number 5. That's definitely a strategy adaptation, opting to not just chase down the Warlock. I'm curious if they get punished for it. Leaving a Warlock open is dangerous. Already Malefic Rapture casted twice in a row. They can't afford to let too many of those go through. Otherwise, this would be a fitting final resting place, as it is a cemetery. Zot's just tanking them at the entrance to the room, getting a ton of damage across the board, and Tana's getting pulled away from the tombstone. Now they're swapping back to Walrick, so they need to get ready to position to kite, going for Entangling Root, but Walrick is stunned at the moment, not able to really move too much. He could use the Demonic Circle. He's tanking them at the moment. Double Howl Terror. Gets pummeled. He can't portal. That could be a lot of damage. Avenging Wrath gets popped immediately. Walrix tries to portal. They're going to use the Root on the charge and the Ursul's Vortex on the Blade Storm. That was perfectly positioned by Fnobbers to prevent Nerd Rage. Look at Nerd Rage just trying to chase down the Warlock. Kara is so far away. Mind Control spammed by Zot. Just keep them away from the Warlock. But Fnobbers' mana isn't looking that good. Already down to half mana at this point here on match point. So their kiting looks solid, but they need to try and get a drink at some point, I would imagine.
Yeah, Walrus on the run right now in Soul Shape, just trying to avoid that damage. Make a swap on Fnobbers. Immediate life grip there by Zot, trying to just protect their Druid. That was the Bark Skin, though, so they got Bark Skin out of the way. Now Zot getting tab targeted too, forced into his Greater Fade. Still has the Dispersion, lots of defensive cooldowns available, but I like the fact that Cowana Gaming, they're mixing it up a little bit, kind of just hit the targets that they can, and when they have all their cooldowns up, don't just run after Walrix, especially if you don't have the mobility to get there. Look at the targets in the way, and if Fnobbers is there, go after that low-hanging fruit, try to take it down. Walrix right now in a Hammer of Justice. Big damage available. He's going to trade out the Unending Resolve. Really not too much mobility, far away from that Demonic Circle. Scary moment. Can't really blame him, and if you kind of try to convert that into offense, I'm a bit surprised Fnobbers is so out of mana. He's actually going down for a drink. This is a really important drink. They get the Divine Shield while Fnobbers sits down, recovers a bunch of his mana, and I would say Tegridy Damp, they are looking good for a potential win in this series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a huge swing of momentum right there. And I do think a little bit of the strategy that Cowana Gaming are using here is let's attack whatever we can. Let's run Fnobbers out of mana. Of course, with Warwicks, that glass being our main target here. Now they're going to go after Zot here because they cannot reach Warwick. Warwick's going to spam out some fears onto Kara. And honestly, this strategy is backfiring pretty hard on them. Fnobbers sitting up for Zot, dropping dangerously low there, using the Greater Fate. He needs to be extremely careful. Still not using the Dispersion. Finally going to trade that out there. And that was just a random wings proc there, I believe, from Kara. Now they're going to go after Warwick. Warwick just uses Soul Shape aggressively to get a fear, which means he has less mobility right now. If they can connect onto him, it would be huge. Nice double root. Nice vortex there. Fnobbers doing exactly what he needs to do here, playing that Druid expertly here. Going to be dropping some heals onto his teammates. Just going to be dropping the roots, the vortex, making sure that it's extremely difficult for these melees to get back on their target. But Zot right now is an exposed target. Fnobbers realizing that, going to drop a Cyclone there on the wings of Kara. Can they connect onto something? They get a full fear of the Fnobbers. Where's the Hex? Tana can't find it. They still have wings up. They still have big damage. If they can just connect onto somebody, doesn't look like it. You're going to go after Zot here. Once again, Tana getting feared up. Can they get... I want to say, though, Tegridy Damp's pressure is way lower here. And I think, actually, in dampening, they might just be able to kill Warwick through everything. So it's not the worst situation to be in here. Having a decent amount of mana onto Tana and just stalling a little bit right now. Kara has no bubble. They don't have wings, so there's no real reason for them to really fight here. If they can keep up their pressure, prevents Fnobbers from drinking. That's the best case scenario here for Cowana Gaming, but they're going to have to duck behind the pillar. Those dots are doing way too much damage. And Nerd Rage as well, getting absolutely shredded right now.
There's no AoE healing. Spirit Link's going to do nothing. Everyone is dead. Triple Howl of Terror. Rake Stun comes in. This could be a triple kill for Tegridy on match point. Huge damage coming out. They just need a little bit more. Nerd Rage recovers with a Word of Glory. Tana goes for a Fleshcraft. Kara's on the run. Catches another Word of Glory, and they actually make a hold with all three players at 10%. Cowana Gaming stay alive. They're getting back on target, going after the Warlock. Walrick's going to portal away. They switch over to Zot. Zot going to Greater Fade and Immune, trying to escape away from Nerd Rage and Kara. Good entangling roots usage here by Fnobbers, catching Kara out in midfield. And Tana can't afford to dispel any of this crowd control, otherwise Dispelling Unstable Affliction will put him incredibly behind, maybe even kill him at a certain point. But man, that was a close call on match point. Tegridy Damp now need to shake it off and go back to their original game plan, work towards that moment again. Dark Soul up in 45. Silence available now along with Shadow Fiend. Zot could make a play with that. Warix is baiting Tana out here into the midfield. Will he get baited too far? They're actually swapping to Zot off to the left side now. Walrix actually soul shapes in again to try and get a Howl of Terror, maybe. He's not able to find it. Baits out the Tremor Totem, then goes for the Howl of Terror after killing the Tremor. Good play, but ultimately does break to some damage over time effects. Zot still the target, but has defensive cooldowns. Unfortunately, Fnobbers' mana is not in a good position here, and Avenging Wrath is up. Kara's trying to go after Walrick. They're a bit split up. They've got Nerd Rage on Zot and Kara on Walrick. They're not going to get a lot of pressure split like this. They're going to charge towards Walrick. He needs a demonic circle. He's going to portal, try and escape while Fnaubers is stunned. Door of Shadows from the Warrior to reconnect that Unbound Freedom. Scary moment. They overlap defensive cooldowns. I don't even really blame them in that position with dampening at 18%, but it is a big opening. They basically need to kill Tana in this next attempt. They're going to silence Bakara and Sanctuary. Can they kill off Tana in time? The Spirit Link Totem comes down. Warwick gets a Shadow Fury, but only snipes one player. And now they've got no unending resolve. And they've got Dark Soul. They need to push with this. They need to go for a kill. Can they finish the job here? Tana pops Ascendance, trying to recover with some healing waves. And they have managed to pull themselves back to full health. But Fnaubers is drinking. How much mana did he get? He got almost full mana. Tegridy Damp in a good position in terms of mana, but they need to keep Walrix away from them. There's not much defense for him. They're going after Zot, though. There is cooldowns for Zot. He could just easily trade Dispersion here if he wants to. I mean, Tegridy Damp are in a good position. Walrix is free casting. This is looking excellent for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Cowana Gaming right now, they have a decent amount of pressure, but they're going to have to run once again. And if they're forced back to the pillar, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Tana right now in midfield has the Astral Shift up, dispels himself. Zod going for a mind control. Beautiful, intimidating shout there by Nerd Rage. But you can see Cowana Gaming, they're flailing to survive right now. This was the intimidating shout on Fnaubers. It looks like they're going to be able to recover. Big damage available for Tegridy Damp. Everyone is loaded up with dots. Mind controls coming in from Zod. Tana there with the wind shear interrupting it, looking for healing waves, but dampening is higher, getting higher and higher. Tana may be able to sit down for a drink. Can he actually sit down and recover some mana? I think he got a little bit of a sip there. Warwick wants to shut that down, moves forward, but may have overstayed his welcome. He still has no unending resolve, and Fnaubers is forced to trade out the Iron Bark as a result. I mean, it looks so good for Tegridy Damp, but if they overextend, that's when Cowana Gaming can really start developing some counter pressure.
Yeah, and look at Kara. He still has his wings active right now. They're going after Zot, though. I don't know if I like that. There's no Iron Bark. There's no nothing here on Warwick's. No Trinket as well. If they just stun him up and go for him, that could be big. Instead, they're going to go after Zot there with the Stormbolt. Zot still doing what he can here. I guess they're just trying to shut down the damage here and maybe play a little bit more of a dampen strategy here on the side of Cowana Gaming. Let's see if it works out for them. They're finally connecting onto Warwick here.
8 seconds.
Quite a lot of damage. No unending result for another 5 seconds here onto Warwick to get a Hammer of Justice onto Fnaubers. Beautiful Master Spell comes through from Zot. And I mean, you look at Tana's mana and look at Fnaubers' mana. Fnaubers just sat down for a drink and he had full mana more or less, and he's basically burned through all of it. So anytime Tana can drink, even if he just drinks like 10-20% of his mana, it matters so much here for Cowana Gaming. They haven't given up just yet. Kara has his bubble back again. Spirit Link coming up in about 30 seconds.
Warwick!
Nerd Rage is super low though. Warwick's doing a lot of damage right now with that Dark Soul, with that Dark Lair, looking to potentially take control over the game. Dampening at 34%. Fnaubers has that Innervate active right now. And Tana here with the Mana Tide Totem trying to get a little bit mana back here. And I think they have enough in the tank to potentially finish the push here. Full stun onto Warwick. No trinket for 7 seconds. Teleports away. They reconnect onto him. Zot gets kicked here. They're just attacking whatever they can. They just want to run Fnaubers out of mana. I think Cowana Gaming, this is it. They cannot reset. They cannot go behind the pillar anymore. They just need to attack whatever they can and don't let Fnaubers drink ever again.
All right, let's see if they can keep him out of mana here. It's coming down to the wire. They've got defense on the side of Cowana Gaming. They dealt with the Dark Soul, but here comes Power Infusion, round number 2. How much damage can Zot get out? Mind Game's on the car. Where's the Dispel? They go for an Ascendance heal instead, not wanting to gamble. But now Tana is silenced on the Ascendance. Nerd Rage is falling down on health. Kara goes for an Avenging Wrath play, but will he be able to get the damage out? Zot uses Demonic Gateway to escape. They're going after Fnaubers a little bit here. I think they want to go after Walrix, that Unbound Freedom. Hammers down onto Fnaubers. He's going to trinket that. He doesn't want to fall down to the burst. Howl of Terror onto the DPS. There's good rot pressure right now on Akara and Nerd Rage. They're far from the pillar. Walrix on the left, Zot on the right. Everybody getting decimated here. Dampening is high. Kara has to Divine Shield, go immune to damage. They're going all out on Walrix. Walrix sees it coming and trades out on any resolve, which means he can free cast. He should just be channeling out Malefic Raptures right now. He's caught into the Stormbolt. Now his defense is about to subside. How much mobility does he have? He needs a Leap of Faith. He's trying to run through the Efflorescence, but his healer's caught into a fear. He needs some help right now. He's stuck for 2 more seconds. 1 more second. Leap of Faith pulls him out. Tana's desperate, trying to line of sight. Zot's chasing Tana to go for the kill. Silence on Tana. He trinkets out. He goes for Spirit Link, but everybody's dead. That Spirit Link's getting no value. Kara is trying to push Zot away while Nerd Rage goes for a kill on Walrix. Kara looking to reconvene, trying to help out, but Tana has nothing. Literally working with nothing, just Riptides. Tries to get a healing surge, but everybody is dying. This is going to be a kill on Kara. Tegridy Damp have done it. The turnaround in game number 5.
Unbelievable. Well done by Tegridy Damp. This composition is, it's paying its weight in gold here for them. 3-man roster really making them work. They get a victory against Cowana Gaming. Cowana Gaming, it's no secret, they're one of the best teams in Europe, and picking up a point in this round robin against them, that's going to be huge value for their squad.
Absolutely. These guys should be so proud of themselves. Incredibly close series. They came in lower seeded team, very much an underdog here. And like Venna already said, only 3 members on this team as well. Really that only one composition as well. These guys made it work. Pressure super high for them. But in the end, they took away that victory. And we're going to see how that all went down in game number 5 right here.
Look at that damage.
You can see those two.
Look at Kara. 1 million damage, 1 million healing.
Yeah.
Look,